Well, good evening, everybody. I apologize, a couple of minutes here. I just went to start up our Market Monday broadcast there, and I am coming to you live from Texas on my laptop, and the whole thing froze up and shut down on me. Wouldn't you know it, right when we were about to start. So we made it anyway. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I know that lots of you guys will be watching this on recording, but of course, we're going to have live friends from Facebook, from YouTube. I want to start off tonight and say this. We do this show every Monday night at 6 p.m. Every Monday night at 6 p.m. I haven't said in a long time. I tell you my name. I am one of the coaches here at Tradeway. I've been in the Tradeway program as a student, started knowing zero. I want to say that to somebody tonight. I started knowing zero for the last 4 weeks. I've been in a room of about 50 to 100 brand new Tradeway students in Dallas, and I've let every one of them know what I want to let you to know. What I want to let you know tonight is that anybody, I'm telling you guys, anybody can learn to trade in the U.S. stock market, no matter how conservative you are, no matter how fearful you think you might be. There is a way for you to get educated and get involved. And trust me, it's a huge blessing to get involved because this is an incredible opportunity. We have the best stock market in the world, and it doesn't matter if you're joining us tonight as a pro or you're joining us tonight as somebody who is brand new, more brand new than brand new. I promise you, I knew less than you when I started in 2015. So let me say that up front. I am an active trader. I am a coach here at Tradeway. I help coach, mentor, and instruct other people in their trading. I love to teach. I love to preach. And I get to be on here every Monday night at 6 p.m. with you guys. So haven't said those things in quite some time. We've been doing this show for just over 2 years. And I want to let you know, every Monday night we're coming on here, we're going to attack a specific area of trading. I want to equip you to be more interested, to be more empowered, to be more effective in your finances through trading in the stock market. Our current series is, what are the things I wish I knew before I started trading? You know, I told you that I knew zero. And I really mean that, guys. You might be like me. You just didn't ever pay attention to the stock market. You know, I got saved when I was in my early 20s, and I really came into a belief in the kingdom that money doesn't matter. Right? Some of you guys can relate to me. Some of you maybe didn't get that bad teaching, and it is bad teaching, that money doesn't matter because money doesn't matter to God. Money doesn't matter to God. That's what I believed. And honestly, in some ways, sometimes very forthright, sometimes not so forthright, but maybe in a sneaky kind of way, I just sat under teaching that insinuated that, you know what, money doesn't really matter to God, that money is a necessity, but maybe a necessary evil. And it really just corrupts men, corrupts people. And it's not something the Christians should ever really concern themselves with. Well, idolatry is something that we don't want to concern ourselves with, but actually money is pretty important in this present age. Now, it's not our highest authority. It is not our highest authority. And I can understand the reaction when preachers, teachers, and people in the church, well-meaning, want to say, hey, it's not our highest authority. We want to counteract idolatry. So let's talk like it's not that important. But actually, the reality is that it's really important. And the scripture shows us that it's actually important to God. And the reason I start tonight by saying that is because I want you to understand a bit of my story, that you might relate to it, that coming into learning how to trade in the stock markets has actually given me a tremendous amount of hope that I don't have to be dependent on any system, on any economic cycle, on any employer. I don't have to be dependent on that. I can partner with multiple streams of income, something we talk about here at Tradeway a lot, because we have multiple streams of expenses, multiple streams of bills. So why not have multiple streams of income? However, this is something that is an enormous opportunity for us, and we really can learn how to do it. Tonight, I want to tell you something that makes trading so much better than we maybe ever thought it could be. And that is because we can trade options. I'm going to explain to you guys what an option is and talk a little bit about how they work. We did a preview of options a little while ago now, and it was honestly one of our most popular episodes because folks out there want to know, how can I start with just a little bit? How can I trade when the market is crazy, right? When it's going down, and the market has been going down for a little while. We're going to look at a stock chart here and I'll show you the market moving down. But it's also something that we can use when the market is going sideways. So I want to show you that first. I can see my friend Benjamin lighting up the comments there. We've got folks on here, as I mentioned, from YouTube, from Facebook. If you ever join us live, gives you the opportunity to chime in, ask questions, give comments. Let me know what you want to know. Let me know what you're thinking. That's something that you get to do in the live environment. So please join us live anytime you can. Again, I know lots of you guys will be watching by the recordings. And of course, you can always email me at support@tradeway.com. Market Monday. Ask any questions you want. If you've got an idea for a topic or an episode you'd like to see in the future, we always take those into account. I want to help you guys understand what it is that you are looking for. So tonight, options. What are options? And I'm going to tell you this right off the bat. I didn't have any idea what an option was, but when I first learned from Tradeway, my very first event that I went to with Tradeway, they showed me the power of options. They showed me the potential gains that I could make in options. They showed me how to manage my risk better in options than just plain stock trading. And once I started trading, I did one stock trade. I actually did my very first trade on a stock. Visa was the stock. I just got right in. I was super nervous and I got right out immediately. Okay. I just did it to break the ice. That was my first trade. That was the last stock trade I did for a long time, because I knew how to trade options. Now, before we go on, some of you guys might be wondering, what's an option? What is an option? If you haven't learned this yet, I'm going to go through this for us tonight. I want you to understand what these are, and I want to cultivate some curiosity and some hunger, because not knowing how to do options could potentially be for you a major missed opportunity. In fact, I have to say, if you have a retirement account, if you've got some cash sitting right now, inflation is almost at 10%. It's a 40-year plus high. That means that your money is worth 10% less than it was when this inflation. We've always had some inflation. We just haven't had this kind of inflation since the early 1980s, late 1970s even. So we are losing buying power. Did you know that the value of the US dollar has lost about 60% of its buying power since the year 2000? It's not even that long ago. Okay. If we've got money just sitting in cash, if we've got money sitting in stocks, there might be opportunities with options that you just don't know about that can actually be a major, major blessing to you if you just knew how to do it. We've just got to do some stuff. We've got to learn some stuff so we can do it. That's what I tell people all the time. You know, we can't confuse trading, right, and finance. When we're learning that, I find that we can't afford to confuse complexity with what is unfamiliar. A lot of times investing and even options can sound like it's really complex. And in some cases, options trading can get complex, but a lot of it is not. It's not complex. It's just new. So it feels complex. So I want to show you some things tonight. And I would just say, take a journey with me, because actually these things, not that complex, really awesome to know how to do them. I love looking at the flexibility and the power of options. I was spending all day doing what I do here at Tradeway, coaching in the markets, looking at options, different opportunities. Actually, it's a really exciting thing to be able to do. And I am definitely feeling that excitement on Market Monday tonight. So an option, if we can just start out with this, what is an option? Because most of us have heard of a stock. So to start very basic and very quick, an option, or I should say a stock, okay, a stock is when a company wants to raise money, they are a private company. They decide to go public. Again, in short, they then sell ownership of their company. It's like a pie or a pizza, right? And they break it into several million, many millions of pieces. Each one of those pieces is called a share. Okay. Now, we wouldn't call it pizza, of course, we'd call it stock in that company. Now, owners and board members and high ups will retain a high volume of those shares, thus having a lot of ownership of that company still. But the rest of those shares will be put out to the public market that you and I can buy and sell. And as the value of that company fluctuates, the prices go up and down. You and I could buy into a company that we believe in, and as it appreciates, the stock can appreciate, and you and I can partake of the growth of that company. And since here in the US, we have the best companies in the world, that gives you and I a tremendous opportunity. Most of us are just taking our retirement account, sending it off to somebody else. We don't know who they are. We don't know what they do. We don't know why they charge us what they charge us. We don't know what they have us in the market. We just say, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to hire somebody, send it to them. They'll send me a statement 4 times, 1 time a year that I maybe don't read and I don't really even understand anyway. And that's just how it's supposed to be, right? But the truth is, and there are exceptions to that, all right? I want to say that. I want to shout out. There are some amazing investment advisors out there, but a lot of the industry is just not really serving you and I the best that it could. And part of that reason is because you and I just don't have this information. Here at Tradeway, we want to educate you so that you are able to be a powerful participant in your money, short-term and long-term, right? Your retirement, your college savings, whatever it might be. Shares of stock are a huge part of all of this conversation. We have to at least understand the basics of that. That is the asset we buy. We buy a share or shares of the company. We actually buy some ownership in the company, and that is what that value comes from, right? Now, an option, or what we might call I should say it this way, an option is a kind of derivative. There's a new word, derivative. It's something that derives its value from an underlying asset. Again, not complicated, but potentially new, okay? Potentially new. A lot of people who come to Tradeway are brand new to trading. Brand new to trading. If you know somebody out there, they're interested in trading, they don't know a lot, they're like you, go ahead, tag their name in the comments, send this on over to them, because we would love to speak with them as well. We at Tradeway try to do our best to educate people who honestly haven't really thought about the markets too much before, but it's something that could really benefit them. I meet a lot of people at these live events I talked about. I meet a lot of people online who honestly have been praying. They've been praying for a long time that the Lord would show them something that could help them take better control of their finances, right? We don't make wild promises here at Tradeway. We don't make wild guarantees. We are people who have gone through the process of learning a trade, a skill set, and that's trading in the stock market, right? If you and I could pay a phone bill, right? If you and I could make a car payment, if you and I could make a mortgage payment, okay, all the way on to potentially replacing your income, right? These are the different goals people have. Wherever you're at, we want to help you think about something maybe you haven't thought about. Maybe you're an active trader. We want to help you sharpen that. Options is a tremendous way to do that. I said it's a derivative. It derives its value from the stock. So we've got the stock, and then we've got this funny thing called an option. So let's take real estate for a second, because this is a really easy way for most of us to understand what an option really is, okay? So let's say Benjamin here, I'm going to put Benjamin's name up on the screen for everybody. Benjamin's got a great question. I'm going to get to that in just a second here, Benjamin. I want to explain this first, though. So let's say Benjamin owns a house. I'm going to use really easy numbers tonight. And the cost of this house is $200,000. But you know what? Benjamin lives in, let's say, Texas, okay? He lives in Texas, and he's noticed a lot of people are coming into the state, right? A lot of people are coming into the state. And I see your other comment there. I should say Benjamin is with us a lot. I appreciate having you on. Thanks for all your questions there, Benjamin. So Benjamin owns the home. Okay. Benjamin owns a home and he's looking to sell this house. And I go to him and I'm saying, okay, here's what I think. I think the price of that house is potentially going to go up, right? I see a lot of people moving into the state. I think it's going to go up. Maybe Benjamin thinks, actually, yeah, a lot of people are moving here, but I think we've peaked. I think it's gone up as much as it's going to go. So him and I have a difference of bias. We think something different about what that asset is going to do. So I might go to Benjamin and I would say, okay, Benjamin, here's what I'll do. I'm going to sign a deal with you. You and I are going to start a contract. And that contract says that I got 12 months. I got 12 months on this contract. And in those 12 months, I have the right, but not the obligation. I don't have to, but if I want to, I can. I have the right to buy your home at $200,000. Okay, $200,000. And Benjamin goes, okay, 12 months, that's fine. Why? Because he thinks the market has topped. He doesn't think it's going to go up anymore. And he's actually going to make a little bit of money. How's he going to make money? Well, in order to make this agreement with him, I'm going to pay him some earnest money, essentially, right? I'm going to pay him about 10% of the cost of the house. So I'm going to pay him that money and he gets to pocket that. He gets that right away. He gets to keep that money. Okay. Now, let's say in the course of time, I was right. Okay. I was right. And the house appreciates to $250,000. Well, what do I have in my hand? Him and I, we signed a contract that said I can buy this $200,000 at any point, right? Let's say the house continues to go up. We're just going to use easy numbers like I said tonight. And it goes up to $300,000. Okay? So he now has the obligation to sell to me this property, this house, if I exercise our agreement. If it's within 12 months, after that it expires and the agreement is over. I then could say, well, Benjamin, I'd like to exercise my contract. I'd like to purchase the house at $200,000 minus the 10% that I paid to him for the contract. And then what could I do with the house? Well, I picked it up at $200,000, but the market value is now $300,000. I could flip that house immediately for a profit, right? The profit minus what I paid for the contract. But what if I don't have $200,000 to begin with? Okay. What if I am starting as a small investor? I don't have a lot of money, right? Mario's on here. Sounds like a true story, says Mario. I'm going to put this up quick, Ben. Sounds like a true story. Seen a lot of different license plates here in San Antonio from all over the U.S. Hi, guys. Hey, Mario. Glad to have you back on. I have to say, I moved from California in 2016. I rarely ever saw California plates. And as you guys probably know, some of you guys out in Florida joining us as well, some other places, Tennessee, perhaps, you are noticing there are a lot of California plates. A lot of people from New York on the East Coast moving down to Florida too. So there's a real redistribution of wealth happening right now. And let me tell you this, little side trail, the markets may be moving down, but Wall Street, CNBC, the news outlets, financial news, they like to tell you that money's been wiped out. Oh, $1.7 billion wiped out from the markets. It's actually not true, right? Money doesn't get wiped out. It changes hands. It changes hands in the market. There are two parties in every transaction in the market. If this one loses, this one's winning. If this one's winning, this one's losing. That's how the markets work, right? That's how the markets work. So there is a massive redistribution of wealth going on, and it's happening even as the markets drop. In fact, around here at Tradeway, I'll say for me, when there is high volatility in the markets, there are opportunities in that volatility that don't exist at other times, right? So there's actually some things that the Bible says knowledge is better than gold. We like to talk about that here at Tradeway. If I have the knowledge, it's better than just having a handout. It's better than just having cash. because you can take the cash, you can lose the cash, but you can't take the knowledge. You can't take the knowledge. And the knowledge I have is so, so valuable. It's so, so valuable. So that rabbit trail said, we've got the house and this contract. Well, what if I don't have $200,000? Or maybe I just don't want to spend it. Well, before I ever exercise the contract with Benjamin, what if Mario and I make an agreement? Now, he actually would like to buy the house. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to not even purchase the home, but now the contract has value in and of itself. I had to pay a little bit of money to get it, but it's now worth more to me than what I paid for it because the asset appreciated like I speculated that it would. And this is speculation. That's what we call this, okay? You're speculating on the value of an asset. Now, what we do at Tradeway is teach you how to do that with an edge safely, okay? We've talked about that many, many, many times here on Market Monday. You and I need to have a system, okay? I'm resisting the urge to dive into that. We've talked about that a lot. We'll talk about it more. But if I speculated correctly and the price of the house went up, now the contract itself is valuable. Instead of paying the $200,000 for that house, I'm going to go ahead and just sell the contract to Mario because all that intrinsic value in that contract could be useful to him, especially if he would like to buy the house, right? He would like to buy the house, so I can sell that to him. Now, the cool thing about the stock market is you and I don't have to go out and find Mario. We don't have to go out and find Benjamin because an options contract in the stock market works the same way as I just described in our housing real estate scenario. It works the same way. It derives its value from the stock. So as the stock goes up, you have a contract that says you get to buy that at a discount. That gives the contract itself increasing value. And you and I could just buy and sell the contract. What does that mean? It means several exciting things. And I mean that. It really does. It means that you and I can trade excellent companies. Some of those companies might be 50, 60, 70, 150, 200, some even Amazon, $3,000 a share, right? Some of these great companies, even Apple, it's about $130 a share trading today. This is something that we could actually say, well, you know what? I maybe don't have a lot of money to start, or I'd like to have more leverage. Then we could use options contracts to never actually buy the stock. We can just buy and sell the options contract. See, now this is a game changer for you and I. You may have the ability to go out and buy 100 shares of Apple, right? But with this, you can spend a fraction of that and still derive your value from what Apple does, right? Now, I'm not against going out and buying the outright stock. There are benefits to that, of course, but options trading can be tremendously helpful for us in that we have so much leverage, right? And we're only investing approximately, it depends, but about 10 to 15% of that stock price, depending on exactly what those terms on the contract are. That's something we teach you all about here at Tradeway. But another thing is, consider this now, okay? We've now gone into an area where we're not just trading the stock. We're trading an option contract that's connected to the stock. But what if I change the terms of that contract? What if I change the terms of that contract so that the transaction between me and Benjamin is actually beneficial to me if the price of the house goes down, okay? If the price of the house goes down. We've talked on Market Monday about what shorting stocks are. In short, pun intended, I'm going to tell you this. Shorting is a strategy that people in the stock market use when they want to profit when the stock moves down. Because you and I might say, Blair, you know, the stock market's going down. Let's go ahead. Let's pull up a chart here. Blair, the stock market's going down. How do I trade when the stock market is going down? What should I be doing? I'm going to share my screen for y'all. Let's go here. Pop that up. There it is. All right. Here's our charts by Tradeway software. Going over to the chart. There's the S&P. Starting to get a little bit of a recovery here, but man, this market's been moving down, down, down. First of all, just let me point out how just some simple lines on the chart just really start to make sense of what's going on. I'm telling you guys, you could learn a little bit. In fact, I've been talking to a friend of mine. I've just showed him just a little bit of this stuff. And he's already telling me how tremendously impactful this is. It's a true story. I can show you just a little, and it can go a long way. So we look at this chart and it's moving down. How does Wall Street make money when the stocks are moving down? I promise you, Wall Street doesn't just sit back on their hands and go, well, I guess there's not much we can do right now, but lose our money in the markets, right? You might have a manager managing your retirement, your money. Maybe you have some money trading in the stock market. And when the market is retreating, it's falling, it's dropping, right? It's shaking. We sit on our hands and go, I don't know what to do. I guess I'm just going to wait it out, right? And if it recovers, then we stand to break even, but it may not. And what's the opportunity cost of doing it that way anyway? Okay. Wall Street doesn't do that. Wall Street has strategies. Well, what's one thing Wall Street might do? Short the stock. And again, in short, pun intended, not that time actually, but what they do is they sell the stock at a certain price and then buy it back at a lower price. In essence, what they're doing is a strategy that has unlimited risk, right? Because when you sell a stock that you don't own, if it goes against you, what way is it going? Up. You're profiting when it goes down, but if it's going up, how high can it go up? How far can a stock go up? You know, if you and I buy one share of Apple at $130, how much money did we put at risk, right? We bought it and then we sell it back. If we buy it at 130, it can go to zero, right? You and I stand to lose $130. We would never want to do that. We would never want to leave it in all the way down, right? We would teach you how to get out of the stock. Did you know there's a simple thing called a stop loss? What does it do? Stops a loss. It's an automatic order you can put into the stock market so that you only lose a little. You only lose a little. So many people don't even know that a stop loss exists. So if it stands that when you buy it, it can go down, what they do when they short is they borrow a stock, sell it at 130, but they have to buy it back and give it back to the person they borrowed it from. What if the stock goes up instead of down? What if it goes to $200? They're forced to buy it back at $200, which is more than they made when they sold it at 130, and they're at their $70 a loss, $70 a share loss. But the difference is that it can go up infinitely. It can't go down infinitely. Eventually, it just hits zero. Very unlikely, right? But eventually, it's going to hit zero. On the upside, can be really, really painful because it can go all the way up. You can actually lose more than you started. So we don't teach people to short stocks, right? It requires a lot of expertise, a lot of capital, and it's very, very tricky. So what's an alternative? Remember the contract I talked about. This is a put option. This is what we call a put option. The put option gains value when the stock goes down. Okay? It gains value when the stock goes down. All we had to do was change the terms of the contract. Okay? Initially, in my example with Ben, the option gains value when the house price goes up. But now I can set the terms of that contract so that I actually gain value in the contract when it goes down. What if I could force the sale of the home? Force the sale of the home at a price. So let's say market price goes down instead of up. It goes down to 150. And I have the ability to force the sale of that home at 200. Now I've gone the opposite way. Market price is 200, right? Or market price is 150, but I can force the sale at 200. 200. So I've changed the terms of those contracts, and that gives me the ability to do something I've never been able to do. Make money when the market goes down. I could tell you things beyond that. Some of you guys, you own a lot of stock. I wonder if you've ever heard of a covered call. If you own a lot of stock and you want to sell some of that, or you don't mind selling some of the stock you own, do you know Wall Street will pay you to sell your stock? right? It's called a covered call. You say, Blair, I've never heard of a covered call. Or maybe I've heard of a covered call, but I don't really know how to use it, right? Your neighbor who has no training at all is just going to go out and sell the stock at the market price. But if I could show you covered calls for a minute, I could show you how if you have a stock that you want to sell, you could go out and sell it, and Wall Street will pay you to sell the stock with a covered call. Something called a naked put. You could go out and Wall Street will pay you to purchase a stock. Your neighbor will just go out and purchase the stock at the market price. You could go out, learn to use a naked put, and you could get paid. You could get paid to purchase a stock that you know you're okay owning. Okay, you would want to know that you're okay owning the stock, because that's the thing. You could end up owning the stock if you sold a naked put. They'll pay you to do that. Of course, we have to train you and show you how to do this, but there's so many things to do. Did you know that you can use options? That if the market, let's take a look at the screen here. Market's going down, right? Market's going up, down, sideways, up, right? It's pretty volatile right now. What if I took something like, let's do this guy. Okay. Switching charts here. Let's go to 1 year. What if we even just had something where the market's just going sideways, right? What could we do in here? Well, we could do call options, right? We could buy stock. It's going sideways. But there are times in the market, this is when I started. Let's see if I can get it pulled up here quickly. It's just loading for us here. When I started, the stock market in 2015 went sideways all year long. It was quite a year to start trading, I have to say, because if you and I need to directionally trade, you say, well, directionally trade, what does that mean? There's the whole thing. Let's go to 2015 for a sec. I'm not sure exactly where I am. If you and I need to directionally trade, which means we only make money when the market moves up or down. Remember, I just showed you how to do up and down. Well, what if the market's just going sideways? What do you and I do? What if you and I want to continue to be active in our trading business? You say trading business? Absolutely. Why can't this be a trading business? Whether you're a business owner or not, why not? Why can't you be? Why do you have to be the exception? You could be a business owner. You could have an at-home stock trading business. It's one of the easiest businesses in the world to get into. Have to learn. It's a trade. We have to train you, right? But the overhead in this business is way better than opening a storefront, a restaurant, even real estate, all those kinds of things. This is something that is so accessible in 2022. It's amazing. It's amazing. And there are many opportunities in the United States of America, but trading is a huge one. Okay, what am I saying about options though? Well, what if the market's just going sideways? It's not really going that strongly up. It's not going that strongly down. It's kind of in transition. What do I do? We can show you here at Tradeway how to use options, right? There's several ways to do it. Let's talk about a credit spread. Okay, you say, I've never heard of a credit spread before. Well, that's okay. There's lots of new things happening here. A credit spread doesn't make money primarily when the stock goes up or down. Okay, it makes money when the stock is going sideways. You and I can have an option in the chart. Let's just do it like this. I'll pick any screen here. I can show you on any chart. My internet's being a little slow tonight, guys, so I apologize. We'll give that a second to load. If you and I have the stock price here and we sell our option here, and this stock never gets above that, doesn't matter what it does down here, sideways, up, down, it doesn't matter. As long as by the time you and I have our contract and it expires, as long as it's not above that line, we get to keep the money. Remember what Benjamin did? He sold me the contract. Well, what if you and I could learn to be the seller? What if in our original agreement, Benjamin and I said, I think the house is going to go up, right? It's at 200,000. I think the house is going to go up. Ben says, nah, I think it's capped out. I don't think it's going any higher, right? And there the screen changed. And we described what it's like on my side of that transaction. But what did he make? He made 20%, 10 to 15% of the house value. He took in some cash. And what if the market didn't move up past 200,000? What if it just floated around between 180 and 196? And it did that for the whole year. He gets to keep that money. He is now the seller of the contract. He took in money right away. And where I needed it to move up above 200,000, he could have it stay anywhere below 200,000 and he would be profitable. That's where we start looking at selling options and raising the probabilities of profit tremendously, mathematically speaking, okay? Where we can use that in the market and it's when it's going sideways. So I'm opening the door to some things here that maybe you just didn't know existed, okay? This is the power of options. And what I'm describing to you tonight is just getting started. And I want to back up for a second because we got into a little bit of the technical stuff tonight, didn't we? But we would train you on how you can do this safely, how this can work for you. And that would be my question. That's always my question when I'm talking about stocks and options. It's not about big money, big cars, big houses. It's not about all that stuff. It's about what is it that you are trying to achieve in your life? What are you trying to do? If you could put that money to work, our friend Myron Golden likes to say the reason we have a JOB is because our money's unemployed. Okay. This isn't about the high-rise penthouse in New York City. This is about putting our money to work. This is about taking what we have, even if it's a small amount, and saying, how can I put this to work? I can do it very conservatively, right? There are some very conservative option strategies. Okay. In fact, they're so conservative that you could open a brokerage account with zero experience trading, and they'll give you the ability. They'll give you the approval. Who's they? The broker. They'll give you the ability to do covered calls, right? That's how safe they consider covered calls to be. That's an options strategy, right? That's an option strategy. The house example that we've been using, what if you own some stock already? What if you own 100 shares of stock? Did you know if Benjamin owns his house, what could he do to make some extra money? Well, maybe he Airbnbs it while he's traveling, right? What if he has an Airbnb? What if he has another home and he uses this as a rental property? The property then becomes a business where he makes money and he pays down the house making money with the rental, right? Well, what if you and I could rent out the stock, so to speak, in the stock market? What if we could make money month after month using covered calls? This is a stock strategy with options, and it's a low risk. It's not a no risk. But even when we look at covered calls, the risk is that you have to sell the stock that you want to sell anyway. You say, Blair, I don't understand all this. That's okay. Tonight, I'm giving you exposure to a world of possibility that you maybe didn't hear about or think about before. But you know, I've been telling people for about a month and a half now, the saying goes, what you don't know can't hurt you. And I couldn't disagree more, because I'm going to close with this tonight. I've been telling everybody what you don't know can hinder you. And what you do know can protect and promote you. When it comes to your money, it's not really about money, is it? It's not really about money. It's about you being able to do the things that you really want to do. It's about being able to take some of the pressure off. It's about not being dependent on that single income source that you have in your life. It's about having a more powerful conversation with your financial advisor. It's about freedom, right? That's what it's about. And even starting small. You know, some people tell me, Blair, I don't know if I want to do that because if I made money in it, I'd have to pay the taxes, right? And I say it like that kind of funny because I think, all right, let's say Mario, if I give you $100 bill, Mario, and then I say, you know what, you got to give me 25 bucks of that back. I'm Uncle Sam, you got to give me 25 bucks. How much did you start with? 0, right? How much did you end with? 75. You still have 75 more than where you started. So even if you had to pay 25%, you got $75 more than you had before. If you make anything trading, right, you got to pay some tax on it, but you got more than you started with anyway. And guess what? We've got friends here at Tradeway. They're over at PCS, some good friends of ours. They help our students start up an actual stock trading business by setting up an entity. You get tax advantages. I'm not a tax professional, but I can tell you that many of our students have set up a business so they have those tax advantages. Okay? Why not? Land of opportunity. They do it. You can do it too. Options. No matter what the market does, you have options, right? Pun intended on that one as well. Guys, this is Market Monday. This is what we do around here. Hopefully, I'm inspiring you to learn more, dig in. If you haven't done any stock trading, if you've never learned anything, I'm speaking to you tonight. Head on over to tradeway.com. Tradeway.com, you can sign up for our Step 1 Start Your Journey class. We're going to teach you our stock trading system. What happens if you go into a casino? You gamble. We don't gamble here at Tradeway. If you go into a casino and you got a skill set, it's called card counting, and they're going to kick you out of that casino. Why? Because they don't have the edge anymore. You do. But we don't want you to go to the casino. We want you to come to Step 1, Start Your Journey, so you can learn how to have an edge in the markets. They won't kick you out. Most people don't have an edge. Come, learn an edge, and you can go ahead and start your stock trading career. You maybe never thought you'd even think that, but why not you? I've been Blair Nightingale. This has been Market Monday, and I appreciate you guys being on here so much. Send this on over. If you haven't liked us on Facebook, if you haven't rung the bell on YouTube, please do that. It'll notify you anytime we go live. We'll let you know anytime we're doing something. We're doing something Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday around here on Tradeway, live, Facebook, YouTube. So go ahead, like, ring the bell, tag a friend, send it over, say hello. Market Monday, support at tradeway.com. Thanks, guys, and we will see you next time.